What's up, guys, and welcome back to my channel. Finally back with another video. I apologize for the MIA. If you follow me on Instagram, then you know I recently purchased a home, so I've been handling that, moving, unpacking, getting everything together. So again, I apologize, but let's jump into this video. So from the title, I'm going to show you guys how to make your own clip-ins. It's super easy. Right here, I'm just kind of pre-measuring my tracks before I start sewing the clips on the track. And so I just kind of go in the same way that I would for like my quick weaves, and I measure my tracks from end to end. And I also like to double my tracks just for more thickness. So I'll kind of like fold the bundle in half as I measure. And then after I measure each section, I cut them and then kind of place them to the side so that they don't get mixed up. I only used 2 bundles for this, and by now y'all should know that I only use hair from my hair company, which will be linked below, but I mixed our straight hair with our natural wave hair just because that's all I had in my drawer, so don't mind that. But yeah, let's jump into sewing on your clips. So you want to make sure you use large clips. If you use smaller clips, girl, you're gonna be sewing all day, okay? Use large clips because it's easier, it's faster, and I just like it better. So right here you can see how I have 2 tracks for one. That's because I doubled when I was measuring earlier. And so you're gonna take your large clip, you're gonna take a straight needle. Do not use a curved needle. I personally find it to be a little bit harder to go through the holes on the clips, so I like to use a straight needle. Then after you cut your thread for the length that you want, you're just gonna tie the end in a knot, and that's gonna keep it from slipping through the holes as you sew. So this is what the clip looks like. So we're gonna be using this top hole to the left of the clip and then this top hole to the right, the one above the gold. Those are the only 2 I use. I don't have time to sit and sew through each hole, so just using those 2 works for me. By all means, if you want to use all of the top holes, you can do that, but for me, that would probably take way too much time. So I'm just going to do the top left and the top right. And so you're just going to place it at the end of your track, stick your needle through, and you'll see that knot that you tied will keep it from going through. And then you just want to go through maybe 2 or 3 times to make sure it's secure and tight. And then you're gonna move on to your next hole. So after I sew through each hole, I don't cut the thread. Like, I keep going for the entire length of the track. That's how I'm able to do this so quickly. So you wanna make sure you have enough thread when you cut it to be able to do that. You don't wanna be short. You don't want to sit and have to tie at the end of each hole. That's going to take way too much time. So just make sure you have enough thread to be able to last you for the entire track. Also, I forgot to mention, but you want to make sure you're sewing your clip on while it's closed. Why? Does it really matter? No, it probably doesn't matter. It's easier to do it that way. So make sure it's closed when you sew it on. Now, for my shorter tracks, the tracks that are going at the very bottom of my head, I use 3 clips for. I think using 3 clips is pretty secure. By all means, if you want to use more, you can. But I'm trying to do this relatively quickly. It probably took me only about 20-25 minutes to do all of my tracks, to sew the clips onto all of my tracks, and this is how I did it. So like I said, I just used 3 clips for the shorter tracks, 1 on the left, 1 in the middle, and then 1 on the right end, and then I move on to the next one.
Hello stranger, it's been a minute since we last kicked it. By the way, just got in town, and I won't let cumulus clouds all in the sky ruin my vibe. Usually I don't do this often, but since recruiting isn't an option due to unusual rain and thunder, baby I wonder sweats on, put your sweats on for me.
Alright, so once you're done with your last clip, you just want to tie a knot with the ends of the string, probably about 3 or 4 times just to make sure it's secure. And then when you're done doing your knots, you're just going to cut the excess string. And so this is what your track will look like once you're done sewing your clips. For those that are not familiar with how clips work, you literally just pop them open to attach them to your hair like that, and then close them back to secure it, and that's it. So we're gonna do this one more time, just so you guys can get the hang of it. Tied the knot at the end of my string, placed the clip at the end of the track, looped it through about 3 or 4 times, and then just kept going through the entire track. This is another 3 clip track. This is the one that's going to go in the very back. So in a second, I'll show you how I do the larger tracks. All right, so here's a larger track. This is gonna be for like the center, the middle of my head. So we're gonna use 4 clips for the longer tracks. And I'm just gonna place them down where I want them to be. That way I don't forget as I'm sewing them on. And that's it, nothing changes for the longer tracks. It's just that you're using 1 extra clip. All right, so to install my clip-ins, here's what I did. I did basically the same base foundation as I would if I was doing a quick weave. So I'm gonna section off my leave out, the part that I want to leave out of my natural hair, and then I'm gonna braid the rest. The reason why I braided the rest instead of just placing the clip-ins between my real hair is because my hair is short and I used 22-inch hair, and so you can't really place that long of clip-ins in between short hair. It's not gonna blend right, it's not gonna look right, it's not gonna work. Now if you're using shorter clip-ins that are more closely in length to your real hair, you can place them in between your real hair. But I felt like it was not gonna blend right, so I just went ahead and braided my hair down. Also too, I feel like this makes the clip-ins a little bit more secure when they have something to kind of like really hang on to. I don't know if maybe some of y'all have used clip-ins before, but if you have like more fine silky hair and you've used clip-ins before, you'll know that kind of like they'll slip out, like they won't really be that secure. So I've found that braiding my hair creates for a more solid and secure like placement of the clip-ins. Now I do not recommend that you make your braids this big if you're gonna braid your hair for this. These were entirely too big, but I was being extremely lazy with this. I didn't feel like braiding my hair, so I just did whatever. I do recommend that you do smaller braids, just because it'll be a little bit more concealed. Your head won't really feel as bulky if you do smaller braids. It'll just come out way better. But I was being lazy, so I didn't do small braids. And yeah, I probably did not probably, I did 1 2 3, I did 5 braids in total. But I do recommend you do smaller braids. As far as the ends of my braids, so same thing I do with a quick weave. I'm just going to take the ends and tuck them in between each braid and then sew them down. That way they're not hanging out from the back, you can't see them, etc. All right, so now it's time to attach our clip-ins. You're just gonna pop open those clips, place them securely into your braid or in between your hair, however you decided to do it, and then snap the clips back to lock them. And that's it. It's super simple. I used, I think I had about 7 pieces in total. I only used 2 bundles. That's all I had to work with, honestly. But you can most certainly do more. Like if you want to do 2.5 bundles, if you want to do 3 bundles, if you were to put them in between your hair, you probably couldn't use as much. That's kind of why I like this method a little bit better. But I did only have 2 bundles, so I only had about 7 pieces. Also, don't be like me. Make sure you lay your edges down with an edge control. And then I forgot to mention, I braided my edges up too, just because I wanted to give my edges a break from like heat and flat ironing, etc. Using these clip-ins, it's totally fine to braid your edges up as well. It won't harm your edges because you're not really attaching the clips like to your edges, for real, if that makes sense. And we are done. Super easy, super simple. Probably only took me about 5 minutes to actually install the clips. So now I'm just gonna press out my leave out to blend it. And then I'm gonna curl my hair, but I did that off camera, y'all. I apologize. I have like 3 flights of stairs now, and I left my curling iron all the way at the top of my house. So by the time I got up top, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just do it up here. I don't feel like going back downstairs right now, but I have plenty of other videos showing how I curl my hair if you guys really want to see that. So yeah, sorry guys. And here is our finished product. Look how undetectable this is. Now, clip-ins are not meant to be long-term, long wear. They're really just like an easy, convenient solution. If you're about to go out, your hair is not done, or maybe your hair is oily and you want to throw some clip-ins in just to kind of spruce it up a bit, they're just really convenient. It takes 5 minutes to clip them in, to install them, and it's just a simple solution. Like once you make your clip-ins, you always have them. They can always be a go-to. You can kind of change your style up. This is where I should have laid my edges down, but you could change the style up if you want to pull the hair back, do something different with it. They're just super convenient. I used to wear clip-ins all the time in college. Like it was really my go-to. If I didn't feel like getting a sew-in or doing a quick weave, clip-ins were, like I said, my go-to. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. Oh, also, I know you're gonna ask. Yes, I did dye this hair black to match my natural hair. I'll put it in the description below what I used. But yeah, so just playing around with it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe if you have not done that yet. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them below and I'll answer them. And I'll see you guys in my next video.